This is the Jack Murphy Podcast. Here's your host, Jack Murphy.
Welcome back to the Jack Murphy Podcast. I am Jack Murphy. Thank you for finding our channel, and we ask you to please subscribe if you will, like the video. If you don't like the video, don't dislike it. That really screws up the algorithm and hurts your buddy Jack here. What I need you to do is to like the video and subscribe, because this algorithm is crazy. Like this past Friday, I don't know what happened. Alpha wasn't here. John Garrett wasn't here. So I invited my partner, Jace Mayhew from History City, to come onto the podcast and talk about our upcoming docuseries on the JFK cover-up. And I don't know what happened. We didn't do anything different, but we had like 10 times as many viewers as we normally do for a video. So thank you to everybody who tuned in, and please subscribe to the channel, like the video. Now, today I want to talk to you about something I think is very serious, and it's censorship. You know, when you live here in America, you take a lot of things for granted. We take our freedom for granted a lot of times. We take our free speech for granted, the ability to go worship as we want to for granted. We take a lot for granted. And I'm telling you, the march is on to take away a lot of our rights. And so as often as I can, I like to point out what's happening in other places. There's a woman from the United States who decided to go vacation in Canada over the summer. It's cooler up there. You know, Canada's a great place. I've been to the East Coast and West Coast of Canada, and it's absolutely beautiful. I wouldn't want to live there. Every time I go there, something would bug me, and I'd say, I wouldn't want to live here. But it is a beautiful place. But this woman, she's on vacation. She's up in Canada, and you know, it doesn't matter where you are, but you're going to whip out your phone and you're going to go on your Facebook or your Instagram or maybe on the talk and see what's happening. And this lady noticed something right away when she opened her Facebook feed.
As a visitor here in Canada, I go on my Facebook page, and guess what I see in my scroll? Content not allowed in Canada. Blocked. Content not allowed in Canada. Blocked. Over and over and over again. What is happening to the freedom here in Canada?
When you're thinking about traveling somewhere, and
the answer is we think because Canada, because England, not so much France, but we think that a lot of these countries have the same rights and freedoms that we do. But the truth is they don't. Canada's a perfect example. Most of the media in Canada is state-owned now. You know, Canadian Broadcast Service, like our PBS, and you thought PBS and NPR leaned left. The Canadian version is 10 times worse. But they just, they arbitrarily decide what is and what is not acceptable on their airwaves. And another example of that, of course, is over in England. President Trump warned Starmer when he was visiting over there not to censor Truth Social. They're already censoring Facebook and all the other platforms. But I was not aware of this, but let me share some information. I did a little bit of research this morning. I do that occasionally. Did you know that there has been no general right of free speech in the UK since 1998? How about that? Freedom of expression is guaranteed. However, current law allows for restrictions on threatening or abusive words of behavior likely to cause harassment, alarm, distress, breach of the peace, or anything that might cause distress or anxiety. Have you seen some of the people walking around in America today, some of these left-wing libetard loonies on the left? It takes almost nothing to get them. I mean, for instance, a denim commercial with a pretty girl sends the whole world spinning upside down. That's the kind of thing that they don't like in Europe. But let me give you an example of something happened. So there was a young man named Axel Rudakabana. And Axel, I believe, is a Muslim. And he got upset because down at the local dance studio, they're having a Taylor Swift-themed dance recital for the young girls who love Taylor Swift and take dance lessons at this studio. So what does he do? Allah Akbar and all that, and he goes down with a kitchen knife, and he stabs 3 of the little girls to death and stabbed 7 or 8 other people. They lived, but the 3 little girls died. And as you can imagine, people were horrified. Number one, because the government tried to really downplay the fact that he was a Muslim, and they tried to downplay the fact that he was an immigrant. But it turns out he was on a watch list, on the MI6 watch list. He indeed was an immigrant that had come on a small boat across the channel to England. And this 55-year-old woman, she posted on social media. Oh, and by the way, after this incident happened, the government issued something kind of like our Amber Alert, where everybody's phone lit up, and it said, "Think before you post. Content that incites violence or hatred isn't just harmful, it can be illegal. The CPS takes online violence seriously and will prosecute when the legal test is met. Remind those close to you." In other words, tell everybody around you, better not post that. You might get in some trouble for that. Well, this 55-year-old woman posted that she claimed that the suspect was an asylum seeker who came to the UK by boat and was on an MI6 watch list, and that if this was true, all hell would break loose. Next thing you know, she's in jail, wearing the uniform, in jail. All for saying what turned out to be true. But even if it wasn't true, in America, you could say that, but not in England. And it's that way. It's not just England. It's that way all across. In fact, a lot of Europe's even worse. France is worse. All across Europe, it's terrible. It's certain things you can't say. So what do people do? Most people do. You just put your head down like Eeyore, and they don't ever say anything. They don't speak up because they're freaking afraid of their own government. And I got news for you. There are people, our overlords here in America, would love to have the same power that they wield in Australia and Canada and England and France. Hillary Clinton has talked about this at length. Now, pay attention to the way Hillary says it. She's a little sharper than your typical government official, although she may be up to here in some bad stuff right now. But instead of saying people don't have a First Amendment right to say anything, she says we need to hold the social media companies responsible. Well, if you do that and they start doing the censorship for you, you've accomplished the same thing, right?
We should be, in my view, repealing something called Section 230, which gave, platforms on the internet immunity because they were thought to be just pass-throughs, that they shouldn't be judged for the content that is posted. But we now know that that was an overly simple view, that if the platforms, whether it's Facebook or Twitter X or Instagram or TikTok, whatever they are, if they don't moderate and monitor the content, we lose total control. And it's not just the social and psychological effects, it's real harm.
We lose total control. That's what I heard her say. By the way, did you see what's in the background there? Look at that. Look at that. What is that in the background there? Is it? Are those some Afghanistan women roaming around on the screen or a picture in the background at Hillary's house? Anyway, so Hillary Clinton clearly is okay with somebody else censoring you. We don't have to get the government to do it, guys. We can just get the platforms to do it for us. There aren't any newspapers anymore. There's no printed stuff anymore. We'll just get the platforms to do it for us. And they had pretty much done that. Remember during COVID? And then luckily President Trump came along and changed it. Now Obama, he wants the exact same thing. Obama gave this speech at Stanford University in Palo Alto, California, and what he phrased it a little bit differently. He said, when you flood the streets with sewage, listen to this speech.
Thank you so much. Hello, Stanford.
Don't you love that when the politicians or a celebrity, whoever's giving a speech? By the way, if you're ever going to give a speech or get in front of a crowd, I've done it many times. What you do, you pick out somebody in the audience that you don't even know, and you go, "Yeah, you. I see you. Yeah, you. Yeah." He's the best at it.
It is great to be in California and back in beautiful Palo Alto. You know, coming here always makes me want to go back to college. I'm convinced that right now, one of the biggest impediments to doing all of this,
Here we go.
indeed, one of the biggest reasons for democracy's weakening, is the profound change that's taken place in how we communicate and consume information. For more and more of us, search and social media platforms aren't just our window into the internet, they serve as our primary source of news and information. No one tells us that the window is blurred, subject to unseen distortions and subtle manipulations. All we see is a constant feed of content where useful, factual information and happy diversions and cat videos flow alongside lies, conspiracy theories, junk science, quackery.
Wow. You know, it takes a lot of guts knowing what we know today about him and what he did in the Russia collusion case to stand up and give a speech like that. He's the one who wants to blur the mirror or the window so that you don't see the facts, the truth of what's going on. So I just want to point that out. I want you to be aware of it, that Democrats, liberals, left wing, they want to control the narrative. They want to control the media. They want to control what you can and cannot say. And if you step out of line, they want to put you in jail. They want to deplatform you, shut you up so that only their message gets out there. And it's obvious. And it's already happened. They've let it happen in Australia, Canada, the UK, France, all across Europe. And of course, in all the socialist countries and communist countries, it's been that way forever. But it's a freedom that we cannot afford to lose. All right, there's a terrible tragedy, a story that there's a terrible tragedy involving an Arkansas couple, and it happened in an Arkansas state park. A teacher admitted, a school teacher, admitted that he fatally stabbed a couple. He didn't even know them. He just went out on the trail. They were hiking, by the way, with their two little children. And he just went out on the trail and stabbed them to death right in front of their children. Police arrested 28-year-old Andrew James McGann this past Wednesday at a barbershop in Springdale, Arkansas, north of Devil's Den State Park. And that might be a tip right there. It's Devil's Den. He's charged with 2 counts of capital murder and the killing of Clinton Brink and his 41-year-old wife, Kristen Brink. He's being held without bond. Here's my question. You know, over the years, I had a few positions in management in different places, and I had to hire people, had to fire people. You know, sometimes you just look at a person and you go, I don't want that person around here. I get a bad vibe from that person, or that person just doesn't seem right to me. You know, your gut feeling. Now, if this guy were to come in if you were the principal, and this guy came in with a resume and wanted to be a teacher at your school, would you hire him?
They don't know what the they're doing. Do you understand that?
Do you have to respond to Ron?
All right. So anyway, if this happened in Canada or Europe, I'd probably be arrested for it. You know, there's an asteroid hurtling toward Earth right now that some of our supposedly smartest astronomers say is an alien ship that's on a harmful trajectory that could be coming to do us harm. And there's a lot of wackos out there. You can't take this stuff too seriously. I mean, look, if it is a giant asteroid as big as Mount Everest, as they say it is, and it hits the Earth, we're all dead. Probably almost instantly. You know, there'll be gigantic impact that will cause an intense explosion with the heat radiating out, millions of degrees or whatever. So if you're anywhere probably within a couple of thousand miles of it, you're going to just melt instantly. And then the rest of us will die of superheated air within seconds after that. And if you somehow do survive, you'll starve to death before very long. So it's a bad scenario. I don't even like to think about it. But there are people out there who claim that they are in touch with the aliens, and there's nothing to worry about, like this lady right here.
Today is July 31st, and I have another message from the aliens.
Oh.
Now, if you've seen my last two videos, and maybe even the mainstream news, you already are familiar with 3I Atlas, the interstellar object that was detected earlier this month by a Harvard physicist. Mm-hmm. Now, even though it is finally being talked about in mainstream media, which is progress, it's predictably being spun as an attack, and we're supposed to be afraid. And of course, this is on top of fears of like Project Bluebeam and the government faking an alien attack. So now we're supposed to be afraid of an alien attack, and we're supposed to be afraid of a fake alien attack. So it's ridiculous, and neither of those things are true. There is a large ship coming. It is estimated in November or December, but it is coming to help us, not harm us. So today I'm going to share one more clip from the live channeling session from earlier this week.
I don't want to see that, but I want you to remember what Ronald Reagan always said. Somebody knocks on your door and says, "We're from the government and we're here to help." You're about to get screwed. If an alien comes to Earth and says, "We're here to help," we're all probably about to get screwed. So I wouldn't listen to her. Now here's another guy. He's in touch with the Anunnaki. People have been talking about the Anunnaki for a long, long time. He's in England, and he gets messages from them all the time. Check him out.
Okay, folks, I've just had some more communications with a person claiming to be an Anunnaki lord.
Now, see, this guy's a lot more believable to me. I don't know how you felt about that last lady, but she was overly. In fact, if anything, she kind of looked to me like she's probably an alien posing as a human. She was overall too happy, and that moonstone or whatever she was wearing on her forehead and her outfit, she just seemed hokey. But this guy, he just seems like your everyday English Joe.
And they are telling me that this interstellar object called 3I Atlas, that I've been talking with Professor Avi Loeb about, is Anunnaki. It's their Death Star type craft, which is coming to apparently save at least some of us from an upcoming geomagnetic event. This sounds incredibly far-fetched, but they've agreed to an interview. So, who's up for it? Who wants to send me questions? How will we know if they are telling the truth? Lie detector.
Well, I don't know about you, but I'm up for it. My question is, what's in it for us? What are you here to save us from? The Democrats? Censorship? COVID vaccines? Why are you here? Global warming? I just saw the other day some scientist was talking about, look, there's not only is global warming wrong, but we could be having an ice age start any moment. It's just so difficult to believe anything these days because we've lost trust in our institutions. We don't trust the media. We don't trust the government, the politicians. About the only person you can trust anymore, if she's still alive, is your mother. Yep, the world is changing. It really is. And we just need to be aware that there's possibly aliens coming. There's possibly an asteroid coming. Those are possibilities. But we know for certain that a lot of people in leadership, in government, want to take away our right to free speech in this country. At least people on the left do. And we know that it's already happened in Canada, the UK, Australia, all across Europe, and of course in all the communist and socialist countries. And let's not let it happen to us. This is America. Thank you for watching the Jack Murphy Podcast. If you haven't already, please subscribe and like this video. And I'll see you tomorrow here on the Jack Murphy Podcast.
Thanks for watching the Jack Murphy Podcast. Remember to like, subscribe, and ring that bell. Go ahead, ring it. Get alerts when a new episode drops, and tell your friends about the Jack Murphy Podcast. But only the cool friends, please. Tune in next time for another episode of the Jack Murphy Podcast.